Friends, Rising Kings and Queens, Trap Witch here in Atlanta, Georgia. For those of you who don't know me, I go by The Trap Witch. You can follow me on Instagram if you aren't already. The Trap Witch, TheTrapWitch. I define myself as a spiritual healer and intercessory. What does intercessory mean? I facilitate sessions one-on-one with people to be a bridge in the gap as they are finding their own power in order to build their own bridges, in order to solve their own problems and learn how to manifest and bring forth their own power and ashe to navigate and get in touch with their divine intuition in order to solve and navigate through life's problems. We are all about building up our emotional intelligence and our spiritual stamina. Each one of us, we have great supernatural powers that just need to be unlocked by bringing back the veil a little bit, trusting ourselves a little bit more. If you want to book a one-on-one session with me, you can book me through www.thetrapwitch.com, TheTrapWitch. We are about to do a new moon in Virgo reading illumination forecast for September 9th. 2018 9/9. I know that this 9/9 portal is about to be lit. A lot of us are wrapping up endings and cycles. I know this week has been very much a test to see how far we've come, especially from last year's eclipses and all of those things that we need not longer repeat. A lot of us have paid off a lot of karmic debt, and I know that this week there were some final tests that came to say, have you paid it off, or are you going to let that linger a little bit longer and accumulate more of it? I know myself, I've had to turn the blind eye, drink some water, and mind my motherfucking business this week because the devil has gotten lazy, and the devil often, sends us repeated trials that, I tell people the devil's actually not that much of an overachiever. You will be sent the same trials, just little, similarities and differences here and there. But if you are gaining an eye on what's actually occurring, you'll realize that it's just time that you use your smarts and smarten up a little bit and be one step ahead, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull 5 cards. I'm going to be pulling from the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot deck. And then I'm going to be complementing it with a card from the Goddess Oracle deck from Doreen Virtue. And so what I always do, I always ask what we need to know on a subconscious level. A lot of times, if you were to follow my page, you'd realize I really tell people what the fuck they need to hear. I don't want to tell you what you want to hear. A lot of mystics will blow smoke up your ass, but I refuse to do that. I want people to swallow the medicine even though it's hard, even though it tastes bad, because some of the best medicine is what's hard to swallow. And sometimes what we don't want to taste, what we don't want to acknowledge, but needs to be brought up, because the more that we refuse the medicine that we need to heal ourselves, the longer we stay sick. And you cannot stay in the same environment and the same circumstances of which made you sick. So any of you, I want to bring this up. A lot of people watch me for a terribly long time, and they say, when they book the session finally, they say, Trap Witch, I was hesitating. I was hovering over that link on your website for a long time. I was scared. I was nervous. I had anxiety. Because a lot of people realize that once you hit that button and you book and we get into the session, Spirit can open a can of worms, things that have come up, that come up from your childhood that you haven't overcome. And the truth is, many of us are walking around with wounded inner child, and we don't realize that our inner child has a lot of the answers. And so therefore, some of us as adults haven't healed from that. And a lot of people don't even realize that adolescence, the word adolescence, if you were to look it up, there's no given age of when adolescence really ends. It's a time period when you become independent. You gain your independence, and therefore you no longer are dependent on anybody else. And a lot of people don't realize how much of codependence that they are in life, and that A lot of us don't ever tap into our own magic, which is why we look for our place in the world and we can't find it. Everything you need answered for yourself starts within here. You have to look to the God within yourself. So many people look for God outside of themselves. That's why in religion they can never find it. Religion is just a tool to communicate with the divine. But the truth is, at the end of the day, the knowledge of self is the highest of all. You can know technicalities, you can know the Bible, the Quran, anything, the Kabbalah inside and out. But if you don't learn to master yourself, you will never go far in life. You can be a jack of all trades and a master of what matters the most, yourself. So, Virgo season for me, I said in my last reading, as we were going into this season, that for me, it's going Beyonce. It's going, it's one of my favorite Virgos. Going so independent and so unapologetic in how you want to rearrange your life and how you want things to be. If you want them to be big, you want them to be grand, you want it to be golden, why the fuck not? So, the past few weeks, I know a lot of people have been reorganizing themselves and they're saying, you know what? There's some shit we really got to clear out. And a lot of people have been experiencing chaos, relationships ending, jobs ending, just things ending. 9/9 is such an epic time to have a new moon because it's like, damn, what the fuck do you really want to plant in this harvest season? What's a new crop? What's a new thing that you want to come into that next year will begin to blossom and begin to bloom? And you're just like, shit, I am so glad I planted those seeds that I can reap the rewards of that. So what I'm going to do before I talk anymore, because I don't want to just be talking, I want to go ahead and pull these cards and see what Spirit has to say about this energy that we're going to be using in these endings in order to culminate these new beginnings, okay? So shall we? Shall we? Shall we? Shall we? So if you want, I would recommend getting a notebook, getting a drink, getting just making yourself comfortable. We're going to take a few deep breaths. In through your nose, out through your mouth, breathing in that good new air, exhaling all that fucking bullshit that you got just in you. And really connect with your heart space. Center yourself, ground yourself, put your feet flat on the ground. Okay? Like I said, feel free to take notes. Some of this you're going to want to revisit over the next couple weeks as you align yourself with these endings and these beginnings so that you can really go back and see how maybe what I say tonight aligns with your life and how to maximize this energy. Spirit, I call you in on behalf of the collective and I ask for the highest good of all those involved with harm to none. I ask for clarity. I ask for clear perception. I ask at this time for Legua to open the roads to precise messages. I ask, what is it subconsciously below the surface, beyond the veil, that can facilitate in the collective's highest good, allow them to overcome barriers and obstacles, and give them insight on their journey and where they're currently at, learning how to transcend any spiritual, emotional, physical, or mental blockages that might be in the way in the next part of their mission. We call in their Egun, ancestors, spirit guides, ascended masters, archangels of benevolence only, to assist, asking at this time, where can we point our intention and attention in order to be of maximum execution of our highest potential energy and to be of servitude firstly to ourselves and then secondly to others. For this full moon, look at that, caught myself, in this new moon in Virgo, September 9th, 2018, the portal of 9/9. We ask at this time, what is it that we need to know about this energy and using it to the utmost of its potential? Pache, right there. All right. Uno. Dos. Tres. Cuatro. Cinco. All right. Shall we? First card that we have. It's funny because this second card that I pulled today, I pulled this card, and this Virgo energy, okay? This Virgo energy right now, especially this week, is bringing up the importance of influence, okay? In being influential. The word influence is so amazing in this day and age because 10 years ago, the word influencer didn't mean as much. But in the world of social media and the current times that we are living in, we have so much power, okay? We have so much power in this, okay? This right here is a weapon in 2018. This is a weapon of great potential, but this is also a weapon of mass destruction. And it's not this that makes it dangerous. It's what's behind this. A being. Okay? This is just a medium of communication. This is the transmission. What is on the other side of it is the receiver. I feel to tell you that with this energy going forward, this can be your best friend or it could be your worst nightmare. Because we have to look at how influential we are, not only to ourselves, but to those directly around us and to those of who we send out our frequency to, even through the internet. Okay? The first card we have is the Gede card, which is the Three of Swords reverse. This shows a man who's in a graveyard and he's smoking a cigar, he's having a drink, he's having a picnic, he's very kind of sitting pompously and he's enjoying himself. You know, he's just like, huh. And there's a lot of skeletons in front of him, 3 of them, and they're being put to rest. But do you see these spiders down here? Spiders mean a lot for me. I tell people to pay attention to animals around them because animals speak to me. Spirit speaks to me through animals a lot. But spiders for me, at this time, in my life over the past 3 years, when a spider shows up in my house, I know it's not a good thing. Spiders usually show up for me when I've fallen out with people and there's gossip in the air. If a spider shows up, I know that gossip is around and I know that webs are being weaved. Either way, let's look at the spiders in there. And I pull this card often, but usually the spiders don't stand out to me, but they stand out to me today. And I read very intuitively. Be careful of the webs that you are weaving forward. Okay? Because right now, even when I think about the word web, interwebs, interdimensions, and the second card coming up being of influence, reverse though, you have to be so careful of that 3 of Swords, that heartache, okay? Because the 3 of Swords talks a lot about heartache. And there's a quote that I saw the other day that said, make sure that you do a God mouth back together. Make sure that you do a good job of learning to heal your wounds. Because if you don't, you end up bleeding on people that did not cut you. And why is that of such importance? Because on the internet, you can tell who's sitting behind a phone is fucking hurt. When we are hurting ourselves, a lot of times we continue to hurt ourselves. We continue to directly hurt the people directly around us. We hurt people through fucking the internet and that interweb. Be careful right now of the webs that you are weaving. Because right now, if you are not healing yourself, you are still bleeding with that open wound, and you are bleeding on everybody you come into contact with, and that's not a good look. That's not a good influence. Okay? Right now, you really want to Be mindful of the heartache that you are sitting on instead of burying it. Why walk around with these daggers in your heart? Because if you look at the Three of Swords in the traditional tarot, I want to show you what it looks like. For those of you who are familiar, might not be familiar. Three of Swords. This is the Three of Swords. Can you see it? Look at all those daggers through your heart. Imagine you got a dagger lodged in your heart, and you don't take it out. Every time someone bumps into you wrongly, or it hits you, hits that trigger, hits that weak point, it reminds you of the wound. And a lot of you are afraid to actually pull the dagger out, because if you ever watched a movie, pulling the dagger out hurts more sometimes than actually when it went in, because sometimes when it went in, you didn't even realize that it did. A lot of people don't realize how much hurt that they are walking around with until they get triggered. Let a motherfucker on the internet say something wrong to you that hits that wound. It hits that heart space like, damn, that hit me in my chest. And you don't know why you're responding and reacting the way that you are. Because you still fucking got that bleeding wound gaping open and you're just like, that's why you have to tend to it. Walking around being a hurt person is not a good look. Why? Because hurt people hurt people. Healed people, or people that are desiring to heal, they begin to heal others. So you have to ask yourself in your everyday life, are you actually being a good influence to yourself, learning to heal, and in turn you healing are a good positive influence on the interweb around you? And then on the external, whatever you're sharing on the internet, I myself have unfollowed people that I've got mad love for, but I can't see some of the shit that they're posting because I'm like, you're hurt. One of my former friends commended a celebrity who's really sassy. She's like, oh, I live for a whoever clap back. I live for that sassiness. And I told her, I said, of course you would. You know why? Because that sass comes from a place of hurt. Sometimes our sarcasm, sometimes our comedy, sometimes our humor. If you look on the internet, half the memes that are on the internet are stemmed from hurt. They are built to make you relive your triggers over and over again. And you're sitting there laughing at them, but can't realize why you can't heal and why you keep attracting fucking drama in your life. You feel me? There's some shit that's funny until you have to keep reliving it. You feel me? And there's a lot of things that have caused me to bleed out in the past. I don't want to relive them no more. They're not positive influences to my life. And the truth is, we're going to go through life and the triggers are never going to go away. But if you don't learn to heal yourself past them and build your immunity, then you're never going to go further than that wound. Okay? It went out. Where's my lighter? The third card is the Magician card. The Magician card, man with one hand up, one hand down. What's this Dr. John card in this deck? What's the Magician card? Okay. He's got one hand up to the sky and one down on the drum. As above, so below. So the magic that you want to put forth now in this world, right? The influence. The good influence that you want going forward. It has to be stemmed from a place of you being spiritually sound, so that what comes down, the beat that you're putting, the movement and the beat that you're marching to down on the ground in the physical world, It becomes melodic. It's a good use of your talents. It's a good use of your magic. It's a harmony. It's a, it's a, it's hard for me to say right now. You really want to start looking into your magic of how what you're feeling in your spirit is really what manifests in your life, and that is the sound of what your life, the beat. And are a lot of you off beat in life right now? You feel like you're missing the beat. You feel like life is skipping beats. Why do you keep catching yourself just kind of like, I see you just, oh fuck, off balance again, off beat, fuck. I just can't get in line. You have to ask yourself really what you do with your creative potential and power, especially when you're in these murky waters of feeling maybe yuck emotions, okay? The Santeria card, Santeria is a high priestess of Santeria. She's shown talking to the snake. It talks how the snake carries the ability to have life come forward or death put you behind. And so ask yourself, when you get into like kind of a yucky, nasty place, and you ask yourself, how am I gonna create something that I need, even though I'm in this place? You have to use your power in a way that sets you forward, not sets you back. And what I feel to say is that murky waters, right? Water can be filtered, but you got to go through that process. And what I get is that you got to process and filter out what fucks up your flow of life going forward. And a lot of times in life we have to stop too much because there's stuff that's clogging up our flow. And a lot of it's because we still got these wounds that are too connected to the things that we're attracting to us. Okay? And the truth is we have all the tools in order to manifest change and allow life to be so much better than reliving all of this, but we're not using them properly yet. The Santeria Yagao card shows this a newly initiated person who has the warriors, and the warriors in Santeria are Elegua, Ochosi, Ogun, and Osum. If you wanted to compare them to your inner things, I'd say your consciousness, your perseverance, your intention, and your intuition. Your intuition, if you compare it to Osum, is your lookout. What are you looking out for? You're looking out that you're not reliving your traumas. You're looking out that you're not putting yourself in situations or around things that are causing you to relive them. Ochosi, your intention. Make your intentions be clear. I want to heal. I want to move past these things. So everything that I do it with good intention. From what I choose to have in my plane in the direct inner web of the things that I'm linking into. And sometimes shit leaks in just to fucking test you. I know this week I had 2 tests of things that just leaked into my web, and it's like, bitch, are you gonna get caught up in this shit, entangled, or are you gonna make sure everything stays clear to bring only what you need? Continued. Elegua is our consciousness, Elegua is an Orisha that can be a trickster spirit at times because he makes you question yourself. He causes confusion because he wants you to ask yourself the right questions to get the right answers. And a lot of you right now, are you actually holding on to a lot more hurt than you are letting go or learning to deal with it or learning to heal it? And Ogun, Ogun is a warrior, a battler, a perseverer, but at the same time, Ogun, there's been stories of Ogun, he goes into a depression, he can go through the motions. So you want to make sure that even, you're oiling yourself up so that you can continue to move, that you don't become rigid, you don't become lodged, you just don't end up going through the motions. A lot of people don't even realize half the things that they encourage into their life because they're actually in a depression and they're going through the motions. And so therefore, everything that they come into contact with is just numbing them even more. How many of you go on the internet, right? I want you to be very conscious of this because I became conscious of this. How many of you go on the Instagram or the internet and just get like you're not even really sitting there and focusing on what you're taking in or what you're giving power to. Okay? I've cut people off in the past because I've seen them like a fucking subliminal post about me and then later on said, oh, I didn't know it was about you. But that tells me you're not conscious enough to go, make sure that you are aware of what you're taking in. And maybe you didn't see that or feel that as much as you should because you lost in the sauce. A lot of us are just out here not using our influence for shit. Not being intentful, not being purposeful, not using our talents and our magic to heal ourselves and heal others, but just to perpetuate a cycle of bullshit that keeps us all in this yucky, emotional fucking place, and everybody's on the fucking internet in their fucking feelings. Right? I feel like I see a cesspool of just like bacteria and disease and it's like you have to free up the flow. The internet is a beautiful place where now being an influencer can be such an amazing thing if you can create a flow that doesn't invite the nasty energy in that creates the cesspool of just Let's pull a goddess card. I don't want this shit going on too much longer. This one wants to come out. Irene, peace. There is no need to worry as everything is working out beautifully. You know what I've realized about peace? Peace is very expensive, honey. Peace is more expensive than the newest Louis bag, Fendi, Prada, whatever have you. Because peace, when you learn to invest into your peace, you don't want shit coming to disturb that. And a lot of people aren't at peace. And that's why they're going through life right now. And they're just like, God, why do I live in just like this constant place of being disturbed? Like, I just keep telling people, like, the internet is such a place where it's not even real, but we allow so much of it to disturb our peace. Even in real life, we allow shit to disturb our peace that we have an option not to be a part of, not to allow our influence to be a part of it. Okay? There's so many things that you attract and you entertain and you include yourself in because you've told yourself that it's not influencing you in a bad way, that you should be a part of it, that you don't need to exclude yourself from it. You have a choice in what you allow to disturb your peace. A lot of people lack boundaries. A lot of people lack making conscious decisions that I'm not going to let things influence me any longer, and I'm not going to play an influential part in it. Okay? So what I want to do is go ahead. We're going to close out. I hope this helps you with this energy and moving forward. And so what we are going to do is we're going to ask Spirit to surround us in light. And we're going to ask that we continue to learn how to remove the darkness from the hole that might be open in our hearts and allow the light to come in and slowly heal it up. So surround yourself. Ask yourself to be surrounded in this white light that is attracted to you, to fill any voids, any hurt, any things that are currently in that gaping wound, and asking it to heal it and to slowly allow it to coagulate and to come back together, and for it to get stronger, and for it to emit the type of frequency that you need to be at peace again. And then once you get to that place of peace, that you understand the cost that it took for you to really invest into that place, and that you don't allow things to come in and cause it to be disrupted. Okay? Ask spirit in this new moon in Virgo, right? That virgin energy. Okay? That 9-9 portal of endings. Ask spirit to close and end the chaos and the disturbance and the things that make you have a lack of peace in your heart, and renew it with fresh, new, clean energy, and the desire to only be influenced by positive things going forward. And that if negativity shall knock on your door, because it will, it never goes away, that you learn how to deal with it accordingly, so that you can influence it and transmute it to work for you and not against you. Okay? I am wishing you so much love, light, happiness, and all that good fucking shit, and really closing a door. A lot of y'all have had a lot of, your hand in the fucking door jarring shit to still come in, and I ask that you just fucking close it. A lot of y'all have had lower versions of yourself that you're trying to ascend past, holding on to your ankles in the graveyard. That lower version of you is halfway in the plot, holding on to your ankles, trying to pull you back and trying to pull you into the grave with it. And you just need to kick that motherfucker in the face and say, get the fuck in there, you're dead. You're dead to me. These are lower versions of yourself. These are other situations in your life that have caused low frequencies, low vibes, unhappiness, heartache. Bury them in this cycle once and all for good, so you can really be a positive influence going forward on your life and other people's lives, and so that you can start a new cycle of some of the good, positive, influential shit that you have come here to do. Yeah? Whew, ashe. You feel good, I feel good. And so, Sage Crystals and Trap Music shirt. This is from my friend Quartz and Rainbows on Instagram. It's QUARTZANDRAINBOW, I think Z. Might be a Z at the end, yeah. Quartz and Rainbows, you'll find it. Shouldn't be too hard to find. So I wish you guys love and light, and may this energy work for you, and allow you to plant good new seeds for the upcoming season of 2019, y'all. Love and light. 1.